Good afternoon. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm hopping on here this afternoon to go over my April online card class. I know that it's May, and this is the April class, but when you purchase your class in April, then I send it out at the end of April, and then I have the class during the next month. I know it's kind of confusing, but here are the cards. For some reason, it's not showing very far down on my glass mat today. So these are the 4 cards that we are going to be making today. And if you're joining me, if you could say hello or just post a hi in the comments, that would be great. And if you're watching the replay, you can do the same thing. I just like to know when people are watching. So let's get started. And I'm not sure if you can hear my dryer in the background, but I tried to close the Stampin' Room door, but the dog gets a little antsy when I do that, so he likes it open, so I'm hoping that the noise doesn't overpower. So we'll start with this Daffodil Delight card, which uses, I forgot to write the names of the DSP that I used. Let me look here real quick. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it really quick, am I? I have all these in folders, all the DSP in folders on these little shelves that I have. But I'm not seeing this. It's something blooms. I think it's Blooming Impressions. That's what I'm going to say. Say that it is. And this circle here comes from Spotlight on Nature. So this is a pretty easy card. We're going to use the new corrugated embossing folder with this. Be sure that there should be gems in here too. There they are. I'm going to put those right up there so maybe I won't lose them. This is my envelope. Here's all my pieces for the card. This is my card base. I am going to use my bone folder to crease. This is my inside piece. So I'm just going to lay this inside. And this is my fast and easy one. Sometimes I have oh look, I have 2 sets of yellow. Hopefully I didn't miss putting some in somebody's package. But I have 2 sets of yellow sequins. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take the hello stamp. I have them sitting right over here, my stamp sets. The hello comes from the Beautiful Butterfly. It says hello right here. You can tell I've used this stamp set a lot. Just get one of my smaller blocks and try to get, if you lay this on your grid, on your glass grid, then you can line it up better to get it straight, I think. So here's my Daffodil ink pad. And I'm going to stamp hello right here in the middle. There we go. This one is not hard at all. It's very fast. I've already used the Stamp Emboss machine and the corrugated embossing folder to make this piece. I just And it is so much easier. Do you remember when we used to have the, trying to think of the crimper, and you'd have to get it started just right and just straight and turn it, but so that you could get straight, even lines. But you don't have to worry about that at all with this new embossing folder. It adds them right away. We could have also used this color, which is peach pie. So let's get started here. We will adhere, as long as we're going to adhere things, we'll adhere the inside also. Sometimes I don't adhere the inside because I like to have two chances in case I stamp something crooked, but I'm going to take a chance today and glue them in. Oh, I forgot to look if I had it. I have it upside down. It's kind of hard to tell this, but you can tell just by the stems on the flowers. So good thing I noticed before I got it all the way pressed down. And then we're going, of course I stuck my arm on this one, so now I have glue on my arm and on my hand. It's going to be one of those days that I'm going to be a messy stamper, I can tell. So, there we go with our inside in there. Now for our greeting, we are going to put some tear and tape on the back. Just going to put like two pieces, one kind of at the top, one kind of at the bottom. I might have given you too much of the yellow linen thread, but I wanted to be sure you had enough. I take these backings off with my Pick a tool. So we're just going to take this and we're just going to kind of like loop it up at the top, loop it up some down there at the bottom. It's really going to be sideways with the hello. And then we'll make another loop up here and a little loop down here. So now we have just some thread or ribbon to add some more depth to the card. And we're going to use our dimensionals here. I have almost a whole new sheet of dimensionals. I finally used up all the pieces around all my different dimensional packages. So I got to start a new piece the other day. So I'm popping this up mostly because you don't want it to be lumpy wherever you laid the linen thread. If I were to glue this straight down to the card front, I'll pick off these dimensionals. That one's already picked off. And we're going to add this. Oh, and I see a spot where it didn't, when I put it through the die cut, it didn't cut out. You might want to check that before you put them down. Lots of times, though, if I didn't get them, they'll fall out during the mailing process. Okay, and then we're going to add our 3 adhesive our 3 adhesive sequins here. I ran out of my putty, and I really thought I had another pack of, because you could buy refills for these, but I can't find it anywhere, so maybe I've already used both of them that I ordered. So I ordered some more, but they're not here yet. So I will have to use my spatula. So put one there. One on the hello tag. And one up here. There we go. Very fast and easy, but it makes a great spring or summer card to send somebody. So there we go. We are finished with card number 1. And it'll be our fastest one today, I think. So let's move on to card number 2. This is a little bit of a harder one. So this might take us a little bit. So this is using the polka dot embossing folder and the Round We Go dies. So let's see what we have here, and it's in the Summer Splash color, which is an in color from last year. So what we're going to do is take out all our, this is our inside. It's going to have a piece that fits across the bottom, well, with a little bit of a border for it. So that's going to, yes, it will not, because we're going to put it this way, and so we can cut it off. All right, so the bottom will fit perfect. And this is the card front, and here are the 3 black embellishments. When I was doing the packs for these, I couldn't find my black embellishments, so I colored some rhinestones with the black markers. So these are the ones that you will probably have. And now I have found my black embellishments, so I have those out. I will use the rhinestone ones. I wasn't sure if I had put them in the envelope or not, so I stuck some more in this morning when I was getting together for this class. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, I cut these with the Round We Go dies, and we're just going to accordion fold them. Perhaps I should have done some of this earlier. It won't take me too long. And you can decide whether you either want the stripes to show or the flowers to show. Or you might have a different design because there's different designs but the same color in the 6x6 paper. So I'm not sure that everybody got the stripes. Some people might have gotten the little flowers. And then I'm gonna, this piece here this is the tab that you're gonna glue together to make the doily. So there's piece number 1. Here comes piece number 2. And we're going to fold it the same way. No, we're not. Folding it the same way would be doing this. I had started it wrong. I want to see my stripes on the outside. It might have been okay. We shall see. I hope you're having a wonderful day. It's kind of a cloudy day here, and we were supposed to get some rain, but so far it just drizzled for a few minutes, not even enough really to get the patio chairs wet. Because Herbie, my dog, and I were sitting outside enjoying the nice weather. We've had so much rain lately that it's just nice when we don't have rain to sit out. Okay. So now we have two pieces. And like I said, you can either do the striped piece or you could do the flower piece. I'm going to do the striped piece again. So I want to take this little piece right here and I want to add some adhesive to it. And then I'm going to connect that to this piece that does not have the little tab on it. And then you want to be sure that your pointy ends and your rounded ends are pointing the same way. I will show you just a minute what I mean. I should have really brought my glasses in here. I forgot I was going to be doing something that I need to see close up. So I just want to hold this for a minute so it kind of gets glued, and then I can kind of redo my folds. So see what I mean, how I wanted my pokey ends at the top, my rounded ends towards the middle. You just put it so that it looks uniform when you put it all together. So now we're going to take this tab and we're going to drop the glue. We got way too much glue on there. And we're going to do the same thing. Be sure our pointy ends are pointed up and that this tab fits to that one. And I'm just going to hold it here for a minute. Okay, so now we have this together in like a ring. Now, if you have a silicone mat, which Stampin' Up! Sells one, but I looked all over and I couldn't find mine, so I bought another one for today. They're not really very expensive, but you can get one through in the catalog. So I'm going to lay this here because the glue will not stick to the silicone mat. These are so much bigger than the Stampin' Up! One. It's so much stickier. Okay, so let me get this to where you can see it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to squish this down in order for it to fall out. But we need a big glob of glue on our circle in order to achieve that. And I'm just kind of doing it here on this silicone sheet, so in case I get any glue, the doily will not stick to the mat. Now this doesn't always work for me on first try, so just be ready. What we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to like press it down. I don't know how to explain it any better than that, but I kind of want to just slowly press it all down. And once you get it down, you want to move it over here onto your glue. I should have just started pressing it down on the glue to begin with. Okay, so now one side came apart. I will glue that in just a moment. I think what happened is I must not have waited for this glue to dry over here on this tab. So I will put a little bit more glue on there. You know, this works for me when I'm just doing it all by myself. But every time I get ready to show how this works, it doesn't want to cooperate with me. So I'm going to put some more glue down here because you really need a lot of glue to get into all those areas. And then we're going to take this For some reason, this piece here tore just from getting die cut. So I'm going to add a little glue back there. Alright. I can practice and practice with these as much as I want, and then let me get some of the glue off my fingers. Hold on, I'll get one of my alcohol wipes and clean my fingers. That will make it easier. I should learn just not to make these pinwheel cards. Or have the pinwheel already finished before I turn on the camera. Okay, so now we're going to press these down and they're going to pop out. No, they're not. Okay, so let's try it this way. We'll try it this way. It's going to have the flowers showing rather than the stripes. But it's all because this one here tore. Alright, we're going to get it on here and then we're going to fix that one. I'm going to remind myself next time to do this part off camera. Because this is like the second or this is at least the third time I've tried to make one on camera and they never work out. I'm really not sure why. Definitely this time because they're getting all glued together. Okay, hold on just a minute and I will cut a new one. And we'll try one more time. And then we will say we are finished. I'm not sure I have any more of the Summer Splash paper left, so it might have to be a... Well, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do a peach pie one, and it'll go with the Summer Splash. Luckily, I still have the dies right here. Okay, here we go again. Now I have the other design on here. I'll try to fold this fast. Not so fast that I fold on the wrong lines. You know, this is what happens when you do live videos. Sometimes things just do not work the way they are supposed to. to the tab. I'm going to fold that over. Now I'm going to do the same thing with this one. And if this doesn't work, we will just go on with our next card. And hopefully when you try it, it will work. Because I don't think I've given it a long enough time for the glue to dry before I try pressing it down. Because I'm trying to be in too much of a hurry. Oh, Judy, I'm so glad that you had the same problem with yours. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue here. And I am going to add this to this piece, being sure my pointed ends are up, are facing me on both pieces. And I'm just going to get these two pieces together. Plus it would help if I had my glasses. When you get older and you have to have glasses, you forget to pick them up as you're going to do something. I should just buy a pair that can stay just here in the stamping room. Okay, so I'm getting those two together. And then I'm going to come around here and do this piece. I really like them when they're finished. I even tried taping it. You know, it's just, and sometimes you do them and they just plop right into place. So now what we're going to do is we're going to let that glue set for a few minutes. I'm going to set this over here and we will stamp our label. Here's our label. And we're going to say, hello, friend, which came from the Storybook Friends stamp set. And we're going to say, hello, friend. We'll find it in here. It's right here. Lay it down here so we get it straight. And we will take our block and place it down. And we're going to stamp this in Summer Splash. So we're just giving that a little bit of time to glue. When we first got the Big Shot way back in like 2009, we had an extra long die in it, cut out a doily, and you can make them really big because it was so long. And even those sometimes, because you could do a doily with just a doily this size with just the one piece. But even then, sometimes they wouldn't pop down when you wanted them to. So I have a little bit of extra ink on there. I'm going to do it further to this side just because this side will be tucked underneath the doily if we're lucky. So there we go. Hello, friend. Now I think maybe we've given it a little bit of time to dry. It just needs a little bit, I think. And we are going to try this one more time. And we're just going to press it down. The sides down like this. Press the bottom in, the sides down. Voila. Now if we can get it, I should have just started on this circle. Look how easy that was this time. I'm telling you, it's amazing sometimes. All the trouble I had with the other one. And I really think it's because I didn't let the glue dry long enough. So now what I want to do is, I just want to put some glue down there in the middle to hold it all. So I'm getting the cap off my glue. I'm going to fill this hole with glue. And I'm going to take this little bitty guy here and pop it on the top and hold it down. And so the next thing I want to do is take one of my blocks, excuse me for reaching, and I'm going to lay it on here. My finger has some glue on it. I'm going to lay this on here to hold it flat while we put some more of the card together. Then that too will make it be more sturdy, if I can get it to move without. I like the Stampin' Up! Silicone pad much better. It's smaller and it doesn't stick so bad to your glass mat. Okay, so we're gonna kind of just leave this over here. Cross our fingers that it glues down straight. And I'll move some other stuff so we can work further this way. So we have our polka dotted circle that I already ran through the embossing folder, so we're going to use some mono adhesive. I know that if I get a big glob of glue in the middle of it, like I did there at the end, that should help it a lot. It's just getting it to lay down long enough to get that glob of glue in there. And I would really recommend using the mono adhesive here on this side because it has so much texture that you need the glue to kind of go down in some of those holes to hold it good. And I'm going to add this to the front of my card. Now this card will no longer be a monochromatic card, but that's okay. So there we go with that piece. I need to come down some. That's why I also like the glue, so I can change it if I don't like it. All right. So now do you think we're ready to see if this has glued itself down? I'm going to glue this piece to the inside for this card, and then I will cut another inside for this one and put the peach pie at the bottom to kind of match this. All right. Da, 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 da. Voila, a doily. So now we want to put this in the middle of the card. And I am just going to add some glue right here to the middle. And a little bit around. Just stick that down. It doesn't really look that bad with a different color doily. I'm just going to put one dimensional on this tag here. Right over here underneath the word friend. And I'm going to slide it in there. Oh, now you really hear my dryer or my washer spinning. Okay, and now we can add our embellishments. I try not to add them on top of the raised dots. Now I didn't put a ribbon on this card because I couldn't decide where to put a ribbon. So it's kind of missing a ribbon, but if you wanted to, you could take your Wink of Stella and Stella this whole background, or Stella the pieces before you make your doily. And voila, we are finished finally with card number 2. I really didn't think this one was going to be as hard as it ended up to be. But we made it, and it turned out. I should always just cut 2 pieces when I'm doing a doily card, because I know the first one's not going to work. Alright, so let's try this one. And the last one will be pretty easy too. Okay, this is a shirt card. And I really didn't like how I'm trying to remember now, I saw someone make this card and they used these dots and then they marked like the thread, but after I got that on I didn't really like it, so I switched it for you all. So let's see what we have here in our packet. We have, instead I colored some of my flat pearls with Lost Lagoon and these are going to be the buttons. I just did not like the way it looked. Hers looked much better, I don't know why. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this piece and we are going to use our bone folder. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue down our shirt front. Oh, we didn't want to glue this down yet. Oh yeah, we can. We shall see what happens if we glue this down. Now I'm second guessing everything I'm doing today. Okay, I need this to come over just a tad. Okay, now we're going to take this piece, and this is going to be the collar part. So can you tell, can you see that point there? That's what this is going to be. And then you're just going to angle it back this way, and then you're going to trim it. So I probably should have left it off the, at least this top part up off the paper. So we're just going to add a line of glue right up here. And we're going to take this, and again, we're going to line it up so we have as long a collar as we want. I think that that looks pretty good. And then it's going to come to the angle over there. Just want to be sure it hits that corner there. Okay, so now I'm going to try to trim it. I'm definitely not going to get an A on my video today. Since I made this card back in March, it's hard for me to remember exactly. I need to start writing down my steps so that I can do it correctly when I'm going to show it on the video. Sometimes I have a hard time remembering where I got the greeting from, so I'll just have to make a little booklet where I write down what I used for where I got the greeting from, and where I got the, how I put it together. It would be much easier if I had trimmed this before I glued it down. There we go. Just gonna push this part down here just a little bit more. There we go. Now we have a nice little collar there. I love this pattern paper for a shirt though, because it does perfect. And then here's your little pocket, and you want to glue this together before you can either glue this down, or if you don't want to have such a big handkerchief, like I cut that one. So first I'm going to stamp the words on there, which are, it's a retired set, but I love these words. But now we have a new set that has these words, sort of this same words about sending a paper hug. So, and we're going to stamp it in Lost Lagoon. Or if you don't happen to have Lost Lagoon, you can always do it in black or Old Olive. My wash shirt is now going to town. So I got that a little crooked, so I'm going to try again to see if I can get it more straight. There we go. It's a little bit more straight. And I'm going to cut enough off to glue underneath the pocket, but not to hang down below it. So I'm probably just going to cut off this much. And then I can put a line of glue right here on my pocket. This plaid paper also came from the Storybook Friends collection. I think it's called Perfect Plaid, or Timeless Plaid is what it's called, I think. So, now we're going to have this little handkerchief hang out of the pocket. Right about here. This is a good manly card. See, you could actually do 2 pockets with 1 piece of the white. So now let me find where I put my pearls. I thought I felt something in here, but I guess I didn't. Here they are. So these are going to be our buttons. I think these will look nicer. That if you want to, you can punch out some little circles out of Lost Lagoon and do like what I did with the stitching in the middle. But I'm thinking that these will look better. I really miss my putty that's up here. I just don't have enough anymore. And I know when you buy it, you get 2 refills, and I didn't realize that I'd already used both refills. I had this problem the other day when I did a video. So we're going to put 1 there. These sometimes get so stuck. 1 down here. Okay. And I'm going to save 1 for the pocket too. Here's one already come off. Here's 1 for the pocket. Because sometimes pockets have a little button on them. There we go. And I might put 1 up here on the collar, because sometimes they have 1 up there on the collar too. today is not my day. It just wants to stick to my finger more than it wants to stick to the DSP. I should have used this white line and put that white line right between all the buttons. That would have helped me to get them lined up better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this here and try to scoot it off. That way it'll scoot off onto the DSP instead of the glass mat, if it wants to cooperate. There we go. That was much easier than moving up here where I wanted. Okay, there we go. They don't show up as much as these buttons, but I do think they look nicer. Then I have one more for the collar. It should go right up here in the corner of the collar, I think. There we go. And then I have the inside to put in here. And I'm going to add this strip to the bottom. I can add the strip to the bottom now. I'm not going to glue it down because I never know what I might want to write or stamp on the inside. And if I make a mistake, I can't turn it over if I've already glued it down. And I can just trim this off. And there we go. Card number 3. That one did not take us too long. Now this next card, I use a stamp set that's been retired for a long time, but it is one of my favorites. And I just thought this picture just looked, this paper that looks like a picture just went so well with these words. Each one of us is God's special work of art. And so that is why I use something that's been retired for so long. Let's see if I have everything. Okay, I have it inside. I have the outside. I have the knot. I have the piece that goes on the bottom. This piece that I cut something out of a long time ago, but I've been saving them to do this card. Because when I put this on top, you're not going to be able to see that. So that's what we're going to do first, is we're going to do our bone folder, because that's always our first step. And then we're going to glue this down so that when I glue this down with the holes, the glue will just go onto the background paper. It won't go onto the mat here. This is Autumn Expressions. I'm pretty sure is the name of this paper. And it carried over, so it is not retired. Yay! So come autumn, we'll have some pretty paper again. Of course, we'll probably come out with some more pretty paper. Okay, then we're going to take this piece and we're going to first put on our knot. So we're going to put a piece of sticky tape on each side. You could just put one piece all the way across on this since it's so small. get our Pick-a tool, the correct tool. Take off this piece here. It's a good thing our first card was so fast, with as much as time as we spent on the pinwheel one. So next we're going to glue this on because we want the bow to go on the front of this paper. So we're going to get this glued on so that it kind of fits in there and you have all this blank space down here for the bow. And we're going to hold this, of course, now. Sometimes you have to let it, when you're trying to adhere something to the foil, you kind of have to give it a minute or two to dry or it'll want to slide. So now we're going to put this bow at the bottom. Just going to lay the bow here and take the tails and wrap them around to the back onto our sticky tape. This one can come up just a little. See if I can pick it off the sticky tape and make it come up just a little bit more. Or you know what you could do if you were going to put this bow on, you could put a glue dot on the end of each sticky part. I mean, on the end of each ribbon instead of putting down tear and tape. Okay, so what I'm going to do just to hold these down extra on the back here, I'm going to put a piece of tape over them also. Because this one is just, I put my tear and tape down a little bit too low. But we can always fix things. In stamping, we can always fix things. And then I'm going to pop this up with dimensionals. Since it's got that ribbon behind there, we don't want to see a lump. But this is a good way to use things. You know, I use this as it makes a chain for the picture frame in the Autumn Expressions set. And then I said, well, I hate to waste all that copper. I will put them in my little container and someday I will think of something to do with them. And today was the day. Now I'm going to glue this right here on top. Well, I'm not gluing it, I'm just popping it up. And there we have it. This is another fast and easy one. And then I have this paper. So it's going to be 1/4 of an inch too long. Maybe, let me see. Oh no, it'll be exactly right. Because it's 4 like this is 4. This will go on the back here. I just, you know, kind of want to decorate my inside. Sometimes you can stamp what you've stamped on the outside. So, there we go. Card number 4. Woohoo! Now I want to show you my card class for May. It costs $25, and that includes, you'll get everything to make the 4 cards, except for I can't stamp anything, so you'll have to do your own greetings. And then I always add in a little extra bonus too. So this one I think would make a great anniversary card, meant to be, with the little, again, the kind of yellow or gold sequins. This is a sweater with the new textured DSP. And it's all zipped up as the set, excuse me, the die set that you use. And I kind of colored the pockets to make them stand out a little bit more. This one uses, this paper is right here on top, so I can tell you for sure what it's called. It's called Floral Impressions. And it has a lot of the new ink colors. So this is Strawberry Summer Slush is the color I used. And then if you could tell, but here in the background, it's embossed with the Xenia embossing folder. And it's called a triple pop-up because you have 3 things that pop up and then it opens up as a regular card and it will stand to display. So, and then you just fold it down like this and it'll fit in an envelope. And this one is using some of the beautiful gallery DSP and the paper tags stamp set with Secret C for the words. And on this one, I just put this through one of my embossing folders to give it a little bit of texture. And this is cloud cover for the color of paper. On the back, so you can see both sides of the DSP, is kind of cloud cover and basic beige on the back. And you won't have this line here because I accidentally scored mine the wrong way, but you can't see it on the front. So there you go. If you'd like to take my class, go ahead and send me a note in the comments and I'll let you know. I usually send an invoice through PayPal. And if you live close enough to me here in St. Robert, Missouri, you can take $5 off and it'll just be like a pickup, or we could meet somewhere and I could bring you the packet. So I hope that you enjoyed today. Thank you, Judy. I love the cards too. I just love making cards. It always puts a smile on my face. I hope that you have a good rest of your afternoon, and I will see you next time. Bye.